Okay. April 17th, 2013. Welcome to World Malbec Day, and please welcome Eclio Dumont, the brand ambassador from Acheval Ferrer, who's joining us here today.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you feeling on this Malbec Day?
Oh, wonderful. It's a beautiful day in New York City. It's great. You can taste the spring coming. And, hopefully we will have a wonderful event in a couple of minutes. So it's an important day, and everything very fast and interesting.
It's an important day. It's certainly an important day for Argentina. I mean, the April 17th, I learned on Sunday, was the sort of the founding date of the modern Argentine wine industry. Is World Malbec Day celebrated in Argentina? Are people drinking Malbec today?
Yes, it is, definitely. It's fortunately, Wines of Argentina has made a great effort communicating the Malbec World Day all around, and it's even it's contagious. People in Argentina, even from tourists to people that my friends, are attending some different tastings that are held today, and it's good because it started. It's interesting because it started outside of Argentina, but now it's at least in my experience, it's the first day that I'm seeing that everybody's moving and giving an additional interest in the Malbec World Day. So we are all very happy about it.
It's a great excuse to celebrate with Argentina's, I'm guessing it's the national wine of Argentina.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, in the export market, it's certainly, the most important. We're selling, as you mentioned, we're just moving into spring. You are just moving into, you're at the end of fall, winter. Is harvest complete? Are we in the middle of harvest in Argentina?
No, at least as for us, for Acheval Ferrer, it's already taken care of. It's more detail adjusting and everything working out, and in terms of doing the wine. But yeah, fortunately, 2013 was a wonderful harvest for us. So we're looking at something that's going to be pretty interesting, as we had with 2010, 2011, and 2012. Fortunately, that's the good thing about Mendoza. It's very
even.
It's very steady. It's very quiet. Our main concern, maybe you've heard or everybody heard behind the camera, it's hail.
I've heard that.
It's a hail of a problem.
I guess so.
So yeah, like we've lost some serious amount of fruit some years behind. Even we lost Finca Mirador 2011.
Wow.
2012. 2012. So if you see any Mirador around, it's a good opportunity to. You're not gonna see it for very
much.
Buy
it now.
Yeah, but yeah, we're very happy about what happened this year.
How often is hail a serious problem? Is it frequent every year, every other year, or
you never know?
You never know.
It's just a wild cloud that goes around, and you can see it coming, and maybe the wind can change, but if you get hit, it's just maybe we had half of a property that was badly hit, and you get half of a property that's not so bad. But if you go to where the winery is in Finca Bellavista in Perdriel, there are hits of hail from 05 and 06 that you can still see on the trunk of the trees.
Still damaged.
So you imagine golf-size hail.
They can break a windshield of a car.
Oh yeah, insurance company have a tough time. Believe me, yeah. Animals get hurt, people get hurt, and of course the grapes are there and they
just get destroyed.
Yeah.
So let's talk. We have Chimera here, which is a Malbec-based blend. But let's talk a little bit about Malbec, since it's World Malbec Day. Malbec in Mendoza, what does it mean to you? What should people expect when they're out shopping and they see Malbec in Mendoza on the label?
Well, in my situation, I'm very attached to it because I'm an Italian-based inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
My mom lives in Italy, and besides having an Italian winemaker, Roberto Cipresso, working closely with Santiago Acheval, they make a great team. They're just like the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, so they work perfectly.
They work perfectly together. Might be a little confusing talking to them.
But what we see in Malbec in Mendoza is the work of the immigrants. Of course, the Malbec is a French variety, originally from Cahors. This day is very special because it was the day that this French specialist called Pouchet decided to start with all the big movement around Mendoza and the Malbec, choosing Malbec as the grape, special grape that could suit the characteristics of Mendoza. But yeah, I think in general what we feel is that the effort of the immigrants, because they were moving from their old country, maybe with nothing in their pockets, and trying to relocate themselves in Argentina or all around the world, like it's happened even in the U.S. And they're trying to imitate their old home, bring their old grapes, try to have the same things, they say like the farms, the fruits, vegetables, and it's something that in Argentina helped really a lot the growth of the country as a whole. So Malbec is really an honor. We can say Malbec honors immigrants because especially the vines we like working with are 80-year-old, 90-year-old. We even had 104-year-old in Bella Vista, which is really, we purchased those properties 14 years ago, but the original ones were immigrants. So we're really taking advantage of what they've done, and we honor them in this day too.
It's actually amazing, and it surprises me. You can go sort of around the world, and 150 years ago, where people really didn't know what they were doing, there were some brilliant people out there selecting Malbec as the right grape for Argentina, or picking some of the greatest vineyards in California were planted 150 years ago because some guy said that's the right place to plant grapes. And we've learned a lot, but we don't know that much more, I don't think, than people did 150 years ago. But let's get started tasting this. So Quimera is always a blend, and it sort of occupies the middle price range at Chaval Ferrer. You have
Yes.
the Malbec, which is lower, and then the Fincas, which is higher.
Yeah.
Do you know what the story about above Quimera is?
Well, the idea behind Quimera basically was to give Malbec a special role in a blend consisted like in a Bordeaux.
Which is where Malbec is from. I mean,
exactly.
Malbec historically was part of the Bordeaux blend.
Yeah, so what we are doing here, we are shifting the original proportions and the varietals of a Bordeaux blend, and we have the 5 grapes of the Bordeaux region, but instead of having like a little percent of Malbec like they do to add some color, instead of having 4%, 3%, we do the major part of the blend. So in this vintage, we have 29% Malbec, 27% Cabernet Sauvignon, 20% Merlot, 18% Cab Franc, 4% Petit Verdot. So it's the 5 grapes of the Bordeaux region blended together in what Roberto Cipresso calls a warm blend. This is very special because instead of blending at the end, we blend right after primary fermentation.
Oh, that is interesting.
So you don't know what's going to happen at the end.
It's true.
So the way these 5 grapes get along together, it's really in a different one.
So is this blend? It changes a little year to year. Is this fairly typical?
Every year, we started the first Quimera was only a Malbec and a Cabernet Sauvignon based, because the idea was we were not sure what's going to happen with this one blend, and every year we decided to explore and to add something else to the blend. In 2008, we reached to the 5 varieties, and since then we've kept them, but every year they change in terms of what's best on that harvest. But the idea is always to keep Malbec as the major, as the soul that drives this blend.
And it's a beautiful wine. It's got power and it's got depth. It's not too fat. It doesn't have a really warm climate character feel to it. It's got beautiful acidity. I've always liked Quimera with filet mignon. I think a nice filet is a beautiful partner because it has subtlety that I think can get lost with if you get a big, thick, burnt steak or a lot of fat, it might be a little bit much for the Quimera, in my opinion. But it's a beautiful, elegant red blend.
Thank you for that. That's exactly what we wanted to express. And yeah, it's the idea. Quimera really reflects what a Chaval Ferrer is all about, because we got a blend that really reflects this new old world style. We got some power of the fruit from the Malbec side, from the fruit from the New World, but you got this high acidity, very Italian characteristic.
Very Italian, absolutely.
And at the same time with this it's very smooth, so you can easily find those in more in French wines, sometimes in Bordeaux wines. So the idea is to have this whole blend of cultures.
It's like
and
the United
experiences.
Nations of wine.
Definitely.
It has some Italian acidity, the French refinement,
Yeah.
New World, a little bit of New World fruit. It's not really. I mean, it's always interesting because New World. Everybody lumps everything that's not Europe is the New World, and there's a tremendous difference between the wines of California, Argentina, Australia. One of the advantages, I guess, you have two distinct advantages. One of them is the soils being very poor, and the second is the fact that you've got great diurnal shift. So you have enough heat to ripen your fruit, but at night the temperatures go down, which gives you all this acidity and brightness and freshness.
Yeah. So it's a globalized wine, we can say. It's really something that Mendoza. It's the most continental, extreme continental climate you'll find.
Extreme is right.
Usually, at least in my mind, I think it's the most extreme one you'll find from the world. So high, with 300 sunny days a year, with all this the soils being so poor, as you mentioned. So it's something that's pretty special. That's why in Achal Ferrer we also decided only to work with red wines mostly, so that we could really focus into what Mendoza has its best to offer.
And what is that? What is the best that Mendoza has to offer?
Oh, definitely. Malbec.
Malbec. So let's talk about. I mean, my introduction with Achal Ferrer was Chimera, but then I found that the Finca wines, which, if you haven't tried them, they're really exciting expressions of Malbec. They're not for every day. They're not inexpensive. They're made in small quantities. They're the three Fincas: Altamira, Mirador, and Bella Vista.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's the difference?
Well, different technically.
Technically,
the
nothing.
three wines are made exactly the same way.
Which is great because it's an expression of terroir. Then.
Exactly. So the only difference is, as the French would say, is terroir. So soil, different soils, different altitudes, and they all share in common also they are very old vines. So Mirador is a 70-year-old vines. Bella Vista is 104 right now, and Altamira is almost over 90-year-old so far. All of them very important and grafted, so original rootstocks. Really deep and thick roots down in the soils, getting this diversity. And in Mirador we have mostly clay. Bella Vista is a limestone base, and Altamira has a very interesting layer of volcanic ashes. So all these combined factors make that after treating these three wines in the same way, you get three different expressions of terroir.
And it really is. I didn't know about the soil differences. I knew obviously there were different vineyards, different altitudes, but when you taste them, there really are distinct differences. For me, my preference is for the Bella Vista. I mean, like I said, they're not inexpensive, so I can't buy a lot. So I've focused on the Bella Vista to buy, and you say there's limestone soil there, and it tends to give wines a little bit more focus, a little less weight, which is right up my alley, which explains why I like it so much. So today, World Malbec Day. You're in Mendoza. Achal Ferrer is in Mendoza, but Argentina is well known for Malbec. Can you speak a little bit about other regions that are offering interesting expressions of Malbec in Argentina?
Yeah, definitely. Salta is very interesting. Salta is really, if Mendoza is extreme, Salta is definitely another planet, because we're having, in meters at least, we have like 3,000 meters, that's like 10,000 feet, where some vineyards are planted. And what you get there, the temperature difference between night and day, and the quality of the light, because the atmosphere is, you got less atmosphere there, so the
less.
sunshine there, the energy of the sun is much stronger. So that affects the Malbec in a very different way on everything you want to do at that altitude. So Salta's characteristics are stronger wines in terms of alcohol, but this difference of temperatures with the day and the night brings a lot of an acidity that levels that amount of alcohol. So you get things that are very, very, very unique and very hard to achieve sometimes. Then, in the Patagonia region.
So Salta, Salta is the north closest to the equator,
north.
and that like, Patagonia is south.
Yeah, even if you look a map, if you look Salta in a map, you would, and without considering the altitude, it would be almost impossible to grow grapes of quality at that latitude.
Sure.
But as we are this 10,000 feet up, it's possible. So yeah, Salta, very interesting.
And
Out of
Patagonia?
this world. And Patagonia is south of Mendoza. We get a little more of a maritime influence. So the wines that you can do over there is like it's more, could be like a more European profile if you'd like to. There's some very interesting Pinot Noir going on right now. So it takes time. There's just a few amount of wineries right now in Patagonia, but eventually I'm sure that Salta and Patagonia, maybe at the same time, they will get known around the world in years to come.
Oh, I'm sure they will. So one last question, and we'll have to wrap this up because we don't have a lot of time.
Of course.
It's World Malbec Day. It is 5:24 here in New York, so there's plenty of time all across the United States to go to the supermarket and get food for dinner and go to the store and buy a bottle of Malbec. So what should people eat on World Malbec Day when they're drinking Malbec at home or a Malbec-based blend?
Well, if I were you, I would go buy a bag of charcoal and make a barbecue with wood or with a charcoal. You can mix
Wood.
all of them
Do it with wood.
and just do it one side and the other one. Easy, not a lot of sauce in order to keep that juice alive and pair with the Malbec. We need to pair the juice of the meat with the juice of the Malbec. That's the perfect pairing.
It is a very good pairing.
That's what we like doing. Yeah,
Just a simple grilled steak.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I live in Manhattan. I don't have a barbecue. I certainly don't have a wood fire barbecue.
You don't want to have problems with your neighbors.
I
either,
don't.
right?
But if I had a barbecue, I might have happy neighbors. You guys got to invite
Yeah.
them over. So I'll go home with a grill pan. I'll get a nice steak, grill it up, a little black pepper, a little olive oil, and serve it with a nice bottle of Malbec.
Got it. Can I go?
You can come. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Greg.
And hopefully we'll see you either around the country. You'll be presenting and representing Ochoa Ferrer,
Wonderful.
or maybe in Argentina someday.
Even better.
Even better. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Happy World Malbec Day.
Happy World.